This is the plaintiff, Rima Hawks. She says she agreed to rent the defendant's apartment, and once she paid her the first month's rent and security, the woman told her the security deposit was non-refundable. Non-refundable? How can a security deposit be non-refundable if there are no damages? She felt uncomfortable with renting the place after she heard that, told the woman she no longer wanted the place, and now can't get back her $1,500, so she's suing. This is the defendant, Michelle. She says the defendant was as wishy-washy as they come after she gave her the required rent and security deposit. One minute she loved the place, the next minute she wasn't so sure she even wanted it. Bottom line, the plaintiff was the one who broke the lease, and she has some nerve dragging her into court today. She's accused of changing the deal after the fact.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says she put a deposit down in an apartment, and the defendant said the security was non-refundable and it caused the whole thing. But the defendant says the plaintiff broke the lease, so tough. It's the case of you make me very insecurity.
Rima Hawks, you're suing Michelle. You've asked us not to mention your last name for $1,500 for rental on a place that you did not go through with renting. Okay, yes. And you feel that you should get your money back. Tell me about it.
Yes. I had to move because they were raising my rent for $400 more. So I looked on Craigslist and found Michelle's ad under rent by owner. I was specifically looking for no fee rent by owner so I wouldn't get in the same situation.
Meaning what, a realtor?
Right.
Okay.
I called, we met I think it was the next day, and everything seemed great. It was 1 month rent, 2 month security. And it was supposed to be for $1,400. So a week later, she let me know I have the apartment for $1,500, not $1,400. We met the next day, and I brought.
Why $1,500?
Because she knew she was getting a lot of interest in the apartment, and people were offering her more, and she can get that.
Right.
So
you agree?
I agreed. I came the next day with 4 money orders for 3 months rent.
And that was what day?
The 18th of June.
Okay. So the 18th of June, you give her how much money?
$4,500.
Okay. So that represented?
First month's rent, 2 months security.
All right. Go ahead.
Yes. So, we had corresponded a lot, and just right when I'm paying, she's like, "Oh, you don't get half of the security back though." And I completely had
What do you mean just when you're paying?
Well, she never mentioned it the whole time that we've been corresponding back and forth, or when I went to see it the week before. I said, "Oh, it's 2 months security," more than once. And she said, "Yeah." But she never said, "Oh, but half of that is a fee or a non-refundable something." I was completely blindsided. I had no time to think about it. She just told me right then and there. This whole time, she never told me that there was a fee, and I had no time to think about it. And so I paid her, but the next day I said, "You know what, Michelle, I do not feel right about this fee. I don't know why you're charging a fee. This is the whole reason why I came to an owner, not a broker or whatever. I don't know." And she, I thought we could negotiate it. I thought she'd be like, "You know what, you seem like a great tenant. We can put this towards a month's rent," or something like that.
She has a very different story about this. She says that you had cats and that there was some issue about the cats. Was there a cat issue?
Well, I had 2 cats, and that's why she was charging more money for the rent, $1,500. And I gave her 2 months security, but you get that back if everything's great when you move out. Not you just keep $1,500 just for no reason, And so I just thought it was really getting sketchy.
Okay. So what'd you tell her?
Oh, the next day I was just like, "Michelle, I don't feel right about this fee, and we've already raised the rent $100 and you've got a fee, and what's to stop you from also taking the other $1,500 security?" I mean, I just feel like she kept, I didn't know what she was going to come up with next, and it made me feel uncomfortable. And I thought maybe she would negotiate with me, but she never would. And she talked me out of it and said, "It's going to work out. It's fine."
Wait, what was she saying? I'm keeping $1,500 no matter what, or it's going to work out and I'll return
basically, it? This is standard. Look on any of these ads. You're always going to have to pay a fee, no matter, it's just a standard protocol.
A fee for the pet or a fee for something else?
Oh, like a broker fee. I really don't know. I felt like she was double talking. Do you have texts between
you two that show these conversations you're talking about?
No.
Do you have texts between you two?
Yes, lots of texts.
Can you log into that little trail in your phone?
Yes.
Thanks. What's going on?
I am a landlord in the house in which I occupy, and being a single parent with children, I am very, I guess say anal about who I rent to, because just for the safety and just retrospect, I'm a new landlord, and the people that I've had, not everybody that you can trust, and not everybody you can, feel good about renting your place. And after showing the apartment, I say that it's very important.
Did you ever bait and switch on her and tell her that one of the securities was non-refundable?
So can a landlord make a security deposit non-refundable?
No, definitely not. It's like a fraud almost.
Is it a fraud if the landlord says, hey, take it or leave it, but that's the deal?
Yeah, I need my money back at the end of when I would leave.
I know you do, but do you have a right to it?
I think if it's in the contract that they can do whatever they want.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
Did you ever tell her one of your securities is non-refundable?
I don't recall telling her it wasn't.
What do you mean you don't recall? You did or you didn't?
I told her she couldn't live out the last month's rent. And if you don't stay in the apartment, after looking through the apartment, there's no damage. You take the money from the security deposit and you return the rest.
All of it?
You return, yes.
Did you ever tell her, though, that $1,500 of that security was going to be a fee?
I told her it was for security. The security.
Yeah, are you hearing me? I know what
I
security is.
don't
Did you ever
recall.
tell her it's a fee that you're not going to see back?
I don't recollect telling her that
But
there
how
was
do
a
you not
security
recollect
fee.
it? That's an answer that's either yes or no. It's not a do not recall answer. It's either a yes or a no. She's saying that you switching that on her made her uncomfortable, and that made you not want to move in. And this is what, the 20 what?
The day after, the 20th.
That wasn't, Your Honor, if you look at the emails that I submitted to
Do you have,
the court,
let me see the emails.
most of this conversation was after the fact that she told me she had cats. She didn't tell me that when she originally.
Yeah, but you guys resolved that problem, and you said, okay, fine.
No, we resolved, and due to that, she calls back and says, this is when she's texting me saying that, I don't feel comfortable because there's a carpet on the floor, and that you will take it from the security deposit. She says that in one of the emails.
Hold on. Yeah, the email on June 13th. I really do want the apartment, but I am feeling kind of worried about the cats, not knowing it's such an issue. I will constantly worry about if I move in, and that will not feel relaxed about it. And honestly, the carpet on the stair may be iffy. Wish it was wood. But that can easily be replaced if something happened, couldn't it? My feeling is that I can move in, and if there's any damage from the cats, then you have my deposit. Nothing's perfect, is it? I really strive to be responsible and respectful as I can. I have no idea what you're trying to say there.
All I was trying to say is...
she says that you're just worried that you have 2 months at risk, and that you thought better of it and thought, I don't want to have 2 months at risk because what could the cats do? It might be, and that email kind of does buttress what she says.
No.
So according to you, she bails why?
Your Honor, because when she bailed, because she knew that her cats, they wasn't declawed, that they damaged property, and
Right,
that she
so there
felt
was too much security at risk. She didn't want to end up losing so much money, and so she changed her mind.
Exactly.
All right, so, but she tells you, when does she tell you, I don't want the apartment, I don't think I can go through with this?
She told me on June 24th is actually when she told me after giving me everything back, and we having conversation, I told her, I said, if the apartment is not rented by July 1st, that is a breach of contract. This is a quick, she knows the process she went through to rent my place. So now I have to advertise it again, and get the right person.
When did you advertise it again?
I advertised it the 25th, I want to say.
Okay, and you rented it for when?
No, the 27th.
27th, and you rented it for when?
I rented it for July 1st.
Oh, you did rent it for
I said I wanted to rent it for July 1st.
I asked you rented it when, and then you said
didn't.
I rented it July 1st.
Oh, no, I put it on to rent right after she canceled.
You rented it for when?
Right, for August 1st.
Did you miss a month's rent?
Yes,
Show me the lease with the new person.
I don't have a lease with a new person.
You're a very organized person. I would expect you to have.
Well, no, the July.
According to you, you went to the place and there was a tenant there July 10th?
Yes. And I think the tenant was probably there even before that. It's just
You don't know. When you saw the
Right.
tenant there, how did you see the tenant there?
There was lights on up there, and I contacted her and I'm like, I went by the house. I see someone's up there, and she admitted that there was
Do
somebody
you have
there.
that in the text?
I have.
I just put my passcode into your phone to get. Will you please bring?
I don't know if that's in the text, but she did admit that somebody was in there.
Yeah, she's not admitting it now. She says
July-
she went when you said that. So
Do you
she's saying
think
nobody was
I
in
have
there
it
till
printed
August.
out? Would it be easier for the printout, or 'cause
No,
it's definitely,
I like seeing it right in the
Okay,
phone because
okay.
people can print out what they want.
Okay.
Your Honor?
At some point, did she contact you and say to you, if you can't rent it for the first, I'll just take it and we'll go with the original plan?
She most certainly did. Left it on.
And that did not happen because
Because I said to her that I will think about it and stuff like that, but I don't think, being that this situation happened, that will be a good match.
okay.
Okay.
So what do we have? I don't think I have it where she actually said somebody's moved in there, but she said somebody is going to be in there by the 15th, and that
The 15th of what?
July 11th is when I sent her back her security deposit, because I had told her previously.
When did you rent? Ma'am, it's so simple. You rented the place as of when?
It was going to be rented, occupancy is going to be August 1st, but the person signed a lease and said that they would move in soon they could.
Ma'am,
be
I
paid.
have a simple question. Is it me?
Absolutely.
You rented the place as of when? Don't play back and forth with me. You started collecting rent there as of when? What date?
If they gave it the.
Is it July 15th or August 1st?
July 15th.
Then
is when
why
she
have
signed
I
the
asked
lease.
you this question 10 times and you've
Because-
all constantly said the same thing? You understand what mitigation of damages is, right? Because you talk about how, like you've been burned and you don't want to be burned. I understand that, but I don't want you burning somebody else either. Okay? Mitigation of damages means you get to have what you're out. And if you're not out, you don't get to have it. But more than that, this tenant told you, if you can't get a tenant, I'll move in. I understand why you don't want her. I don't want her either. I wouldn't want her. I wouldn't want her to move in, become a problem. Then I got to evict her. Then I got to sit around 6 months waiting for the court to evict her because that's how long they take. And then I get it. As a business person, I totally understand what you're saying. But legally speaking, when a tenant rescinds their rescission and says to you, I'll move in, because I got to pay for it anyway, I'm going to move in. And we'll go back to square one. I don't blame you for deciding you don't want her, but she's rescinded her rescission. She's rescinded her breach. She's ready, willing, and able to take it. So then how do you collect the rent and not let her in? And how do you tell me I get a whole month's rent when now we have established through pulling teeth that you would only at most be entitled to half a month's rent because you had somebody paying rent. You don't get to have double rent for that second half of the month.
Well, excuse me, Your Honor. She said to me, she says, well, if you don't get anybody in there, because as you can understand.
We're done. Okay? $1,500 verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
1,500.
Well, this is the defendant out here in the hallway with. What's your first impression of this outcome?
Well, the judge, I really think that I came prepared with all the stuff to support what I was saying. We have someone that's a psycho. She was being deceptive. She didn't say that she had cats when she looked at the apartment. And then when I asked her about if the cats was declawed, she said no. So she got upset because she knows that the security deposit probably wouldn't cover the damage that the cats was going to do. And you know something? Bottom line, I submitted all types of information to say that she's not in her right mind and stuff like that. So.
All right. Head right down there. All right, step on in here. I suppose you feel a little bit differently about this outcome?
Well, I'm just glad it's over with and that somebody was understanding what I was dealing with.
Come on in here. Yeah.
What I was dealing with. It was hard to get straight answers out of her. And I was just sketched out about the fact that she was charging a fee and that she was just being all over the place. And it just didn't
Were you straightforward with her about everything about the cats?
Yes, I was. I mean, I don't even know why that even came up. We settled the cat thing. The problem was this weird fee that she was never going to give me back.
Okay. What do you think of that, Howard?
In virtually every state now, security deposits are refundable with two exceptions. If you owe rent money, they can deduct it from the security, or if the landlord has to clean the place and pay money or repair damage that the tenant caused, they can do that too.